How's it going, folks? How's it going? You already know the waves, and for sure, you already know the vibes. It is Zachariah White, a.k.a. King Big Daddy Drip, back at it like it's nothing with this drip in the sauce, because I am the boss. I am back. We are here. Happy good day to every single one of you ladies and gentlemen out there in the world. All right, I hope y'all are having a terrific and a thankful Thursday on this go around. And of course, well, I'll say this, my intention is to get this particular productions out to you guys as soon as possible. But whatever day that you guys happen to be tuning in from, happy good day, man. And even before we get into everything, I do want to say, on behalf of our kingdoms, our communities, our businesses, just our entities in general, we're praying a whole lot of good luck, good fortune, blessings, and positivity out to and for the heavenly kingdom, of course, for them being who they are, doing amazing things for, just for us on a consistent basis, day in and day out. Of course, we're praying that for ourselves, our kingdoms, our communities, our businesses, trying to be the good, the great, the best version of ourselves every single day. And we're praying it to every single one of y'all out there as well, our brothers and sisters. Y'all got that progress going, and y'all keep it flowing, baby. All right, but let's put that off to the side. On this go around, we have another episode of the Royal High Table. All right, I know sometimes I start the video out like that. Most of the time it leans towards the news of the people or the news of the world video, but no. We have another episode of the Royal High Table. Again, y'all know, just overall, whenever it comes to just activity and just keeping things up and going with the progress, I'm always one of trying to make sure that I be consistent. And I know that earlier this week? Yeah, no, definitely earlier this week. We were able to go through and get out an episode out to you guys, and we're posting out the clips, the shorts. So y'all make sure that y'all go check out the previous episode. We talked about the passing of Rich Homie Quan. Again, rest in peace and rest in power to Rich Homie, because he left a very, very powerful, a very lasting effect, not just people, I'll say worldwide. It is not just for the folks within the city of Atlanta, Georgia. And we also talked about President Trump as well, in terms of the recent assassination attempt, in which, by the way, that leads me to the agenda for today's go around. This episode, I'm not trying to have it be anything too long, too strenuous. Just the overall breakdown in terms of how this episode's gonna go. We're definitely going to answer one. We may answer two, maybe even three, just pop up, warm up questions, just self-check questions. Just to give a better idea for what type of questions I'm talking about. I know last time we ended up answering, where did you grow up and how did that impact, your life moving forward? So I'm talking questions of that particular sort, I guess along the personal route, not anything too serious. And as far as I'll say actual topics going on in the world, in society, of course we'll end up talking about that as well. So, but just to give a structured format, again, 2-3 questions, or I'll say 1 to 3, just depends on how we're feeling. This go around, we have 1 to 3 questions. I was about to get sidetracked. 1 to 3, just warm up questions, and then we'll go ahead and talk about we talk about the topic that we have, in which the reason why I said topic is because both of these actually pertain towards politics. All right, so we will, just as a heads up, we will be talking a little bit more about the unfoldings when it comes to the most recent attempt on Donald Trump, and we'll also talk a little bit about the political news as well. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up, but I'll also say, for all of my folks here in Florida, it does not matter where it is that you happen to be. I know, again, you guys will likely see this video come late, but again, I'm a whole lot of prayers, blessings, blessings, fortunes, positivity that we're sending out, double and triple of that amount to everybody. Y'all stay safe, because again, we got this hurricane coming through, and I don't know if this is the policy for all universities, but I do know FAMU sent back sent their students back to their homes just for safety precautions. So everybody stay safe out there, man. We're gonna Florida is Florida, as well as other different states, just the United States as a unit. We're no stranger to natural disasters is definitely no strangers to us. We're going to get through this together, but we definitely need to make sure that in getting through this, that we protect ourselves, because that is something of the utmost vital importance. All right, but all that stuff aside, I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention just before I got into these questions. But yeah, again, I guess overall, I'll lament the fact that this is going to be a relatively shorter episode, or whichever. Well, let me stop saying that, because I know I say it's a shorter episode, but we'll likely end up going through and it'll mess around and be an hour and 30 something minutes long or whatever, just off us just off the strength of us just doing our thing. But I guess that is one thing. I'm going to zoom in the camera just a little bit. I'm going to zoom in the camera. All right, just because I like the zoom in approach that we had going on in the last episode. But what I'll say is this episode is going to be a little different, because even though oh wow, and part of me, as we get through these hiccups as well, I had intentions on doing this particular episode, but also I guess I was a little uncertain, because I know that there was a couple other different things that I wanted to get to today, but I made my decision. I set my mind to doing this, but I did not go through and set this up on Insta, or not Instagram, just this is not essentially, I'm beating around the bush, but this is not a live stream. It's just this. As far as what we got going on, it's just the camera, the mic, and just me on this go around. Nonetheless, still, even as I'm going through doing all these, just talking about the questions or whichever, that still does not take away the fact that we still want to hear what it is that you guys have to say, what you guys think, just about the questions, just about the topics that we're about to talk about, and also what you think of what we think as well. So again, we're not perfect, or let's just say this: you can feel free to have your thoughts and have your ideas about everything. All right, we definitely encourage that over here. And even before we officially get started, I realized I did not say this for the last episode, which is shame on me, but one thing I do want to emphasize is this, right? Everybody is a king, queen, god, goddess, emperor, empress, within their own rights. All right, and we over here, again, the internal spirit and the external spirit as well. We acknowledge that, we accept that, we celebrate that. Again, a whole bunch of different stuff. But what I want to really emphasize to you guys is this: y'all make sure that y'all walk in that every single day. I know that everybody has their set assignment, has their set niche that they're king, that they reign over, whichever, just off of a blessing from God. But life's all about finding out what that thing is. It does not matter to us whether or not you found it or not. We acknowledge that, we appreciate that, we accept that, we celebrate that, man. And y'all just make sure that whether it be a physical crown, whether it be a mental crown, a spiritual, an emotional, a soulful, it doesn't matter what type of crown it is. Y'all make sure that y'all wear that loud and proud for any and everybody to know. Well, for three different purposes. One, you wear it loud and proud for yourself. 2, you wear it loud and proud for who and what you represent. And 3, you wear it loud and proud for everyone else. All right. But all that stuff aside, I'm doing a whole lot of talking. Let's go ahead and get right into the episode. All right. Now, I did, what's it called? I did have the questions right here. It's not going to take anything too much. Let me, bam. Okay. Got this here. Right, and and also I'll say this, pardon me if you know, as we're getting started, we're getting up and going, we may have answered some of these questions beforehand. Honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. I don't mind re-answering the same questions over and over again, because these questions may be subject to change. Like, I know this first one, for instance, right? It says, if you had to eat one dish daily for the rest of your life, what would it be? All right, that is the question. I want y'all to go through, leave it down in the comment sections below, or hit me up in my DMs. Y'all can feel free. It really doesn't matter the platform. Y'all just let me know what it is y'all let me know what is the one food that you guys could eat every single day. All right, I know for me, we've answered this question in the past. Oh, pardon me. I know for certain I said fried chicken, at least on one go around, and which fried chicken definitely for me is, fried chicken is up there, but even the more and more that I think about it, there are definitely some other foods that would give fried chicken some run a run for its money in this regard, just because I know that on top of fried chicken, I love me some fried chicken, especially with the honey. I don't know how many of y'all out there to try that, in which that's another question in and of itself. All right, do y'all eat fried chicken with, or how many of y'all out there eat fried chicken with honey? I think that might be like that might be a down south sort of kind of thing. I don't know if they're doing it just, it feels like that may be a down south, like a down south country sort of, so maybe like out west, not Cali west, but like I'm talking like Seattle, Oregon type west, in the Midwest maybe. I don't know, but y'all still let me know. All right, do y'all eat y'all fried chicken with honey? Hell, that might be another question too, like other weird stuff, but we'll keep it just one. We'll keep it right here, right? Fried chicken is definitely one of my go-to ones. But another thing, right? Just because even as I read this question, I just developed some questions, just some answers just right off the spot. I know I really love me some pork chops. I had some bomb pork chops the other day. Not yesterday, but today's Thursday. Yesterday's Wednesday. On Tuesday. My grandma, she ended up making us making me some bomb pork chops. So pork chops is definitely high up on the list. I realized, especially it's really because I hadn't had this food, this specific food. I hadn't had it. When did I? Because I tell you this food that I'm about to say, I know I'm taking a long time to get to the point, but this food was definitely not something that like my family, like the White family, grew up like you know, that my mom made. It's definitely not something that my grandma made. You know, I definitely had to step outside of the family to get a taste of this. But salmon is also very high up on the list. I mean, I'll say so high up that that even though I answered fried chicken in the past, I just might have to go with salmon, because like salmon to me, I've realized that, especially once I've tried it, you know, a couple years back, like I've been addicted to it just ever since. And I had someone once upon a time make me some like honey crusted salmon, and just the honey with the salmon, that particular mix. Oh boy, that was a good night. That was a good night. That was a bomb dinner. That's honestly, that's my favorite dinner. That is my favorite dinner all time, man. What was it called? It's not only just that we had the salmon. It was also that there was other stuff also that accompanied it that also happened to fall up on this list for what foods that I could eat for the rest of my life. Like, I know that pasta is one of those ones. The fettuccine. What's another one? Salad. Oh, you know what? Salad is on the list. But I'll say if I was ranking them, salad would be towards the lower end, only because it's not so much of the salad, but I think it's because of the ranch that once I eat, when my body feels good when I eat salad. Same thing with all the other foods. My body feels good once I eat it, but I do know that once I finish the it's something about the ranch that it's not a bad aftertaste, but it's definitely a certain type of aftertaste that it's like, let me go ahead and get some water or get some, get some something sweet to wash it down. So, but I know, again, I'm throwing a whole bunch of different stuff out there on the table. I know Twixes is my favorite candy, but I'm gonna stay away just because I know that if I mess around and eat too much of that, like I'm gonna be done for. Hey, I was about to say sheesh. This might be a little TMI, whichever, but like I've been dealing with like some teeth complications because of the fact that I've been eating so many different sweets just when I was a kid coming up and all that other sort of jazz. So I'll stay. Twix is my favorite candy, but I'll stay away from that just cause I know what sweets does, man. Sweets is like is one of I won't say sweets in general, but certain sweets is definitely I'll say a weakness. Twix is really the only one. I know yogurt is also on the mix. I love me some yogurt. I didn't realize how much I love yogurt until I was in college, right? And which, now that I'm talking about college, college really helped out a good bit in terms of setting my formula, setting my routines, and all that other sort of stuff in place, because I know the first year, like freshman year, freshman, and partially my sophomore year. Sophomore was when and which I've only been there 3 years, but that sophomore year was, I'll say, maybe like the just before the first semester ended. From that point moving forward, my diet was set on the right path, because like when I was when I was a freshman, I remember most of the time, like I would eat out. I'd eat Subway, in which I still do eat Subway here and there, but I tried to stay a little bit away, just because I know sometimes here or there, depending on what like foods that I throw into my system, it does not, my body, like it'll be all right for that moment, but my body don't, my body can do without certain things from Subway. I know that definitely ate out a whole lot from McDonald's, in which like in the moment it's good. The fry, I only got fries, chicken nuggets, and the sweet and sour, like the it is the sweet and sour sauce, the green tangy thingy. Which again did my body good in the moment, but afterwards it just wasn't, and my body could have done without it. Let's just say that. But I'll say it was because of my experience working at the Swanee Cafe, and even more specifically, in terms of who, like, because there's companies that preside over it or whatever. I know my first, like, again, freshman, so part of my sophomore year, Sodexo had control over the Swanee Cafe, and then Aramark had control over it after that point. And funny enough, actually, I'm misspeaking. It was what really shifted things was actually that the second semester of my sophomore year, because it was when Aramark came that the area that I was stationed in, because when Sodexo was there, I was serving cookies, cakes, like a whole cookies, cakes. What else was there? I know that there's we had like a chocolate fountain. There was a whole bunch of stuff that we had going on over in my section. I had my own little island. I was positioned removed from everybody in terms of like my coworkers and stuff. But like I had like a whole bunch of different sweets, that I'll say, funny enough, that was when I was eating unhealthily, but thank God that granted, I eat like a pigeon. Two, I still like salad at that time, so I throw some salad up in the mix. So I eat like a pigeon, still had some healthy foods that I was throwing up in the mix, and then number three, I was sort of controlling myself even as I was eating these unhealthy foods, because I knew that it wasn't doing me too much. But it was when Aramark came around that like my area that I was serving in is switched around. They were serving fruit, so that's what got me exposed to the cantaloupes, the honeydews, the pineapples. That's what it got me exposed to the yogurts, the Greek yogurts, the salads, all the different specialty salads. I'm very thankful. I think our Airmark, and also thank God for that particular transition, because even I was doing a whole lot of talking on the tangent, but I'm bringing it back to the question. The question being, if you had to eat one food daily for the rest of your life, what would it be? Again, on that list, we already talked about fried chicken being just a classic already. Salmon being one. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I think my answer is going to be salmon, but some other foods, definitely salads on the list. I like the way that it tastes. You could always throw a whole bunch of different stuff with the salad to make it even better. Pasta, same sort of deal. But shoot, I could also throw some just fruits in general, but especially cantaloupe, honeydew, pineapple. Pineapple I might have to hold off on, because I know that pineapple, as you eat it, it eats away at you. So I get that piece. What else? Yogurt. Greek yogurt, I'm gonna leave off. I like regular yogurt more than Greek yogurt, and even more specifically, I like vanilla yogurt more than any other type of flavors of yogurt. And I really love some granola. Granola can get left off the list. I'm doing a whole lot of talking, but I think overall, just to answer the question, I'm going to settle on, not really settle, but I'm going to choose salmon. Salmon is it for me. Salmon is it for me, man. And I think it's, and the only reason why I'm going to give it the nod over fried chicken is because fried chicken, again, God's blessed us with a whole bunch of different things. Fried chicken just comes like that. Fried, like, somebody always is making fried chicken. I don't care if I go to Publix, get some fried chicken, or grandma making some fried chicken, or friend or whoever it is, restaurant fried chicken tenders, whatever it is. Like, that just comes like that. It's not every single time, every single day, or every single weekend that I'm eating salmon. So I think that's why I'm gonna give salmon a nod. But hell, also at the same time, shoot, that the answer might mess around and change come next time that we answer the question. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna go through, we're gonna answer one more of these questions, and then we're gonna move on to the actual topic at hand, and which I know that for, just historically throughout the episodes of the Royal High Table, I typically had not I'd read part of the episode, part of these articles, but not the whole thing. Just because I want to provide you guys, I want to do better on serving and providing you guys with the most amount of information. I'll implore you is this: we'll read the whole thing together. I'll do my best not to read like not to like butcher the readings or whichever. But we'll read the whole thing together. And again, you guys definitely make sure that you guys hit up the actual source, so that you guys can take a look at it yourself. And there's no translation issues or whatever like that. But I'm gonna find another good question, right? I'm also, just as I'm finding a question, I'll read some questions out that happen to seem like there's something of interest. Let's see. It says, if you could have a superpower, but it had to be kind of useless, what would it be? I don't know. Hell no. I don't know about that question. I don't like that question that much to answer it. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you? Nah. What's a silly reason you've ever gotten in trouble? Nah. What would be the title of your autobiography? Nah. If it had to make people laugh? Nah. I need something. Let me see. Damn. There's not really anything else that as I'm looking here, I'm not finding anything. Okay. I think, okay, I take back my statement that I mentioned, even though this question may have already answered it beforehand, but we're still going to talk about it anyways, right? This next question that I have, and which, by the way, I still gotta, we gotta cite our sources, right? So big shout outs to HelloAudio.fm for them going through, them doing their thing, and getting these podcast podcast questions here for us. They got a whole bunch, by the way. Again, big shout outs to HelloAudio.fm. But the question that has caught my mind is, what's your greatest fear and how do you manage it? Right? I don't know. I know with the first question that we talked about pertaining towards, eating one food, I was able to recall my answer. I know we answered this question before. I just don't know what I said. I know my answer to it now, and I think perhaps my answer the way how I'm going to answer it now is to some degree similar. Chihuahua. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Okay. All right, guys. We're back. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Really quickly, I had to take a quick call to get food and stuff taken care of. But back to the question at hand. The question the second question that we were going to answer was, what's your greatest fear and how do you manage it? Now, the first question, I guess I know we answered the question beforehand. I don't recall specifically what I said during that go around, but I get the impression that what I'm about to say and what I said then, there's still a connection there. Like, they still line up. But essentially, my take on what my greatest fear is. My greatest fear. I think the greatest fear that I have. I don't know why I'm sitting up here saying I think it's funny because it's funny how you find out how many things tie in together, right? So you guys, I'm sure, for some of you who've been paying attention, you realize, and understand the fact that I'm very versatile in what it is that I can do. Or let me not even just say me individually, whether it be, myself, the crown, the throne, whether it be, or crown, throne, king, however you want to refer to me as. Whether you want to talk about the internal sphere, whether you want to talk about the external sphere. One of our calling cards is versatility. Being able to adapt, adjust to so many different things, and ultimately incorporate said skill, said craft, said arena into our own stuff. It's crazy because in order for the way how we got here this far is through that particular means, and I think one of the and it's one of those things where there's something that we've had to do, but also there is a certain fear, like there is something that I'm so heavily involved in that because of this said thing that I'm trying to avoid, right? And I believe that the gentleman who he already mentioned this beforehand in a famous podcast episode. I believe his name is something Godgens. Big ups to him because I know that he's done a lot of time service wise. Again, helping keeping this country safe. Definitely did his part in that, and pardon me because I'm not trying to have it come off as disrespectful by not knowing his name, but I know that he in a podcast episode he mentioned something about how he was like one of the biggest regrets, the things that he was trying not to do. The reason why he goes so hard in his crafts, what he does, is because the last thing that he's trying to do is be on, again, when it comes down, when the clock's winding down and God's calling us back, our body's failing us, and it's time for us to go back home, and there's some times where folks have regrets. Really, he said something, and this was very powerful, and this resonated. He was like laying down on that deathbed, just looking up, and all you see is the what could have been versions of you, and everybody, and there's so many around, and all of them are just looking down at you, just asking, hey, why, hey, we were waiting to get brought to life, hey, we're waiting for our time, what happened. And essentially, I don't recall what said person or what he said as was the response, but that was a very sad thing. And the thing is that I already had the feeling, all right, like as far as my, me wanting to be versatile, me wanting to have so many different things incorporated underneath me, like just have so many different things within my toolbox and in our toolboxes. But that is one of those things that motivates us. Again, we're not trying to. It doesn't even have to be one of those things where we're laid up in a hospital bed, but just in general, not trying to come across any particular situation and see all the different what could have been versions of us, or the what could have been versions of life, or the what could have been versions of our kingdoms, our businesses, our communities, and the overall ration, when confronted with it and trying to explain, it's I just couldn't do it, or I was too tired, or I essentially something, whatever the rationale being, it lending itself to, I just wasn't able or strong enough to bring it forth into fruition. And that is something that I'm not trying to, that's one of those things that's like, I gotta work my tail off, because that is not a reality that I'll be living. Another thing that I won't be reliving is, I know that, I guess it's just before I even do all the whole disclaimer talk, it deals towards, it honestly revolves itself around protection. The God blesses us with so many different things, just throughout the journey, regardless of how it starts off, whether you get a lot and then you keep getting more, or you start off with a little bit and you get an absurd amount, moving on. I've had my fair share of moments where whether it be a person, whether it be a thing, whether it be whatever, I'll say mostly people, where I wasn't able to defend myself or defend and protect someone else from someone also imposing their will and doing. I'm keeping it very general, but essentially just taking advantage of the situations, and that's another thing, that's also a good fear of mine. Now I know that I'm talking about fears. I don't think I talked about how, or mentioned specifically how to manage it. Really, whether I take the protecting and guarding what we've earned and what we've been blessed with through life, or whether I take the turning the visions, the ideas, the goals, the dreams to reality. They both stem from just doing that. It all is all centered and based around putting in the work to actually go through and again, but to go on the offensive, turn the dreams and turn everything into something that's real. All right. And also on the flip side to it, there's a component of, again, being strong, let's just say, let me not say strong, because it takes so much, but let's just say being capable and able enough to defend whatever way that may be, because it's not always physical. You don't have to get, some of the biggest battles may not be physical. It may be a mental or an emotional or a spiritual or a soulful one, but just having those capabilities, that I guess really that's my way of managing it, is one, doing the work to bring it to fruition, and also at the same time, again, for the protection and guarding peace, again, making myself, and for all of what it is that we have, again, like making myself, taking care of myself, getting just making myself more capable and able enough to guard and protect. And then also, doing whatever it is that I have to do. Say if it's one of those things where there's, other folks in mind, making sure that we're all trained, we're all capable, we're all able. All right. Or if it's, something like, say like a car or said objects, taking care of it enough to the point where, it's, some certain objects don't need to take care of themselves, but for the ones I guess that do, then taking care of something so that it can take care of itself. So overall, it's just centered as far as how to manage it. It just takes, you have to do it, and it takes effort. Those are really the main things, and it's simple. It's simple in terms of the thinking. The thinking perhaps is the main thing. Very simple, very easy. But in terms of actually going through and acting on it, executing on it, that is where that is the key thing. That is what I have. I already know it. I'm already aware of it, and it's just a means of us just going through, and it's just a means of me just putting in the work consistently. I already have done a good job so far, but it's just a means of keeping it going and keeping it flowing on that same path. But now that I went through, I've done a good bit of talking on that. I won't even keep it going when it comes to these podcast questions. What we'll do now, we'll switch over to the topics, in which I know I said beforehand that we're talking about politics. Right now, again, more specifically, I ended up looking up two things politics wise. I told y'all about we found a little bit more information about the Trump assassination, but we also ended up looking a little bit of information when it comes to the election as well. So I'm gonna tell y'all about both of them. But let's go ahead and get into the first bit, right? So the first bit that I happen to see, let's see, right? We'll focus on the assassination attempts. Now, this article that I'm looking at, it comes from justice.gov. So big shout outs to Justice. And it does not appear to be too long. So that's also a good thing. Last thing that we're trying. Oh, Lord, that'd have been something if it was long. But anyway, right? Starting off, the title of the article, Ryan Wesley Routh indicated for attempted assassination of former President Trump. All right. A federal grand jury in Miami late this afternoon returned an indictment charging Ryan Wesley Routh, 58, of Hawaii, with attempting to kill former President Donald J. Trump at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida, on September the 15th. Violence targeting public officials endangers everything our country stands for, and the Department of Justice will use every available tool to hold Ryan Routh accountable for the attempted assassination of former President Trump, charged in the indictment, said Attorney General Merrick B. Garland. The Justice Department will not tolerate violence that strikes at the heart of our democracy, and we will find and hold accountable those who perpetrate it. This must stop. This alleged attempted assassination of the former president at his golf course was a direct attack on our democracy. Political violence has no place in this country. Not then, not now, not ever, said Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco. The charges today reflect the department's continued resolve to deploy our every available resource to ensure public officials remain safe and... Oh, pardon me, my fault. I did hear something, but it's my brother in the background. But again, the charges today reflect the department's continued resolve to deploy every available resource to ensure public officials remain safe and to hold accountable those who target public officials to the fullest extent of the law. Routh is charged with the attempted assassination of a presidential candidate, which strikes at the very heart of our democratic system. It's more or less the same thing, said FBI Director Christopher Wray. The FBI is continuing our investigation into this alleged plot and will use the full weight and resources of the FBI. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think I won't. Pardon me for not pre-screening this beforehand, because it seemed like more or less the same repeat. So I'll go through and fast forward it to the end. In which this is another reason why I guess I know I'm reneging on what I said originally, but it seems like there's a lot of repeat. We're going to charge him to the full extent of the law. Full extent of the law. It's an attack against democracy, and we definitely get that part. But we don't need to read that 10,000 times. But essentially, the last few bits that I happen to be looking at here, even though it might be a repeat of what we already read, Routh was charged in an attempted assassination of a major presidential candidate possessing a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence, assaulting a federal officer, who happened to be a Secret Service member, felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition, and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. At a detention hearing on September 23rd, Routh was ordered to remain in federal custody pending trial. If convicted, Routh faces a maximum penalty of life in prison. Oh, so I guess they have not fully convicted. Or they have not fully. Okay. According to court records, Routh was convicted of felonies in North Carolina in December 2002 and March 2010. The FBI is investigating the case with the assistance from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and U.S. Secret Service. The FBI is investigating the case with the assistance from, oh wow, I just read that. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida and National Security Division's Counterterrorism Section are prosecuting the case. An indictment is merely an allegation. All defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in the court of law. Okay, I guess it's more or less, pardon me, because I thought, well, that is something that I learned, good thing to learn. When I read indictment, I thought that something for sure was coming down, of course, allegations, but nonetheless, though, I mean, it seems like he's going to get charged. It's just a means of how severe the punishment is. But if they're saying to the full extent, I know that the prosecution and the defense, they'll eventually, I mean, I don't know if they're going to come to an agreement on it, or the judge is going to have to go through and do his thing, or her thing. I don't necessarily know who the presiding judge is, but that's further information, just in terms of the heads up there. I thought that. I mean, I'm glad that we're still doing some more researching and doing some more looking into what's going on here. It still leaves us at the same point in time. Again, I really want to stress this part home. I'm not trying to come. I don't. The takeaway is not King Zachariah, TIS or TES or pro-Republican or whichever. Really, the social component, the one thing that I know really stuck out in my mind is we get the fact that Trump has done a number of different bad things, and I know even on the opposing side, for the folks who do support Trump, I know that they'd argue that he's done a lot of good things. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but it's this. Just folks, just please be mindful whenever it is that it comes to the comments about oh yeah, well, this person deserves to die, or man, if only the assassination attempts actually went through, comments like that. It's just like, come on now, because in terms of it sounds very, very crazy, and the thing even that statement in and of itself, that statement, that belief, that is something very fickle. it's arbitrary to say the least. And I think that's the biggest thing that I find about it. You know, folks can have their opinions in terms of, hey, yo, Trump, they could have their opinions like, yo, Trump should not be president. Trump should be the whatever he was indicted and charged with or whatever. He should have got a severe punishment. Okay, you know, we got that. Like, hey, Trump has been negative for these communities. We get that. But in terms of this person should die, this and that, and all that other sort of stuff. I mean, I know that to some degree, they're like, you know, judges, even as we're talking about it, have to make that decision, you know. But even still, man, just folks be mindful and don't be so quick to necessarily throw a statement like that out there, whichever, because if you know, because let's just say this, that's something that can go both way, and that is a downhill slippery slope that can mess around, and if it just depending on how people react or what, that's just something that could be applied, that could be thrown on any celebrity, any loved one, or whichever. So just folks be mindful about that. But enough of me doing so much talking about that. We'll go ahead and move on to the next article, and I'm actually going to take a quick look at it now, because this looks like a very long freaking article. So I am going to I am going to let y'all know this next article is coming from NBC News. So y'all definitely make sure that y'all go check out NBC News, and I'm gonna tell you guys the name of the article as well, just so that y'all know what exactly to search up. Y'all definitely do your readings on this one, but I'll just read some things here and, you know, pieces here and there, just so you guys are, you know, y'all are provided with information, man. Y'all are provided with information. But again, big shout outs to NBC News. This other article that I'm looking at is new popular Harris builds momentum, challenging Trump for the mantle of change. All right. Now, the latest NBC News national poll shows Harris leading Trump 49% to 44% within the margin of error, while Trump holds advantages on the economy, inflation, and the border. Okay. And which, you know, what I probably should have done some digging on was to see if NBC leans more towards one way or the other. I'm sure that, I know that a lot of these news sources do lean one way or the other. But essentially, getting on to the article, it says a double-digit increase in popularity, rising Democratic enthusiasm, and early edge for representing change has vaulted Vice President Kamala Harris forward and reshuffled the 2024 presidential contest, according to the new national NBC News poll. Now, more specifically, even though we talked a little bit about it, with just over 6 weeks until Election Day, the poll finds Harris with a 5-point lead over former President Donald Trump among registered voters, 49% to 44%. While the result is within the margin of error, it's a clear shift from July's poll when Trump was ahead by 2 points before Joe Biden's exit. All right. Oh, I have I think I got a thought. I have a thought in mind. Just let's see. Yeah, no, they the nice thing is they provide graphics as well in terms of what the, you know, how things was looking. Yeah, I was about to say, definitely I see like a 7.7% swing in either direction. I see. What else? Still is talking about how Trump holds important advantages on the economy, inflation, although those leads are smaller than they were when Biden was in the contest. 2/3 of voters say their family income is falling behind the cost of living, and voters rank the cost of living as their top concern in the election. And that is, boy, oh boy, I tell you this. I know that, you know, Trump and pardon me for going on the tangent, Trump and Harris, or Harris and Trump, whatever way that you want to say it, they are already cognizant. That is definitely something that's going to be have to be addressed in these different debates, man, because boy, oh boy, there's too many families, too many people living paycheck to paycheck, man. And I tell you this, it doesn't, regardless of if the Democratic Harris gets in or the Republican Trump gets in, regardless, I hope more than anything that the economic situation improves, and for whoever it is that happens to get in office, if they change that, that's going to speak more to the benefit not only just of them but to the party, but also at the same time, whoever it is that gets in, if this issue continues and or gets worse, boy oh boy, that is going to scream bad news for said person, and for said party as well, moving, I'll say at least moving forward in this, immediate future, like within the next 4-8 years or whatever. But let's see, what else? It says inflation remains voters' most important issue. I'll say this, and it is crazy because the in terms of looking at the data, what it shows is, like, in comparison to the other different concerns, like threats to democracy. We just read a whole lot about that. Immigration and the situation at the border, jobs and the economy, all that, inflation and the cost of living, like, has been the highest in comparison to everything. And they've even got a side-by-side comparison to when they done the poll April earlier this year and this month of, just this past month. Not this past month, but this month. Back in April, inflation was 23% and ranked above all the other different categories. The next closest thing was immigration, which was at 22%, and now it has jumped even further. Right now it's at 28%. It's the biggest issue. It's the biggest issue to 28% of the population that voted. And the next biggest thing is threats to democracy. I would imagine because of the recent transpirings with the assassination attempts, but the next closest thing is that at 19%. So we're talking about a 1% difference to a 9% difference. So I definitely see that. But I'll go ahead and scroll all the way to the bottom. The last thing that they have is other poll findings. It says on a recent debate between Harris and Trump, 29% said that the September 10th showdown made them more likely to support Harris versus 12% who said that they were more likely to support Trump. But even still, there's a 57% difference that said it made no difference. All right, so that is key. That is very key. In the battle for control of Congress, 48% of voters preferred a Democratic-controlled Congress compared to 46% who prefers a Republican-controlled Congress, which pretty much is unchanged from when they done the poll in July. In terms of the numbers back then, that we're talking, it was 47% democracy, 47% Democratic, 46% Republican. And on Project 2025, the conservative policy blueprint that ties to Trump's administration officials, the Democrats have featured in their campaign 57% of voters have a negative view on it versus 4% who see it in a positive light. Ooh, that's another key thing. I'm not certain what Project 2025 is, but yeah, I definitely see that. But that, all in all, those are some key bits of information. I will say this. This is one thing. I don't think I've said this in any. I think I probably have said this before, but Trump is going up against, in both of the go-arounds of Trump trying to become president, he's faced two lady candidates. Hillary Clinton back in 2016. Of course, we know what we know what ended up happening there. I will say this. I don't necessarily know how like by how decisive of a victory Trump won. I definitely think that this is going to be a closer contest. And part of me, because because I'll say this, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of hey, Trump. I think race definitely plays a factor, and also Trump getting into as much trouble as he gotten into, that, oh yeah, nah, that's nah, I don't, that's it doesn't help him, to say the least. and it is very, very possible and very, very likely that USA may very well see their first female president. All right, but also at the same time, there is no counting anything out, because at the end of the day, still, because as much as folks want to rag on just everybody in general, I'll say this: Trump's presidency did not come with just all controversy and all negative stuff. And the reason why I bring that up is not because, again, I'm not. Let me make it clear to everybody: I'm not advocating for one or the other. The reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because of the mere fact that Trump's presidency came, especially when it comes to an economic perspective, it came with some of its benefits. Let's just say this: if you were to see that Trump ended up getting in again, that part that I just said about the economic. So I need to get more information, but just the fact that there has been some economic success whenever you talk about the numbers of just every community in terms of employment going up during Trump's presidency, that may be something of interest. And of course it's something of interest as well, because the article ended up referring to it a number of different times. But I just wanted to just let that be known. But also, the next time that we go through and do another episode of the Royal High Table, which, by the way, this does conclude it, I'll say this: we'll probably talk about it again within the next week, but I'll probably give us a break, just so that it's not all politics or whichever, just because I'm not trying to go through and do that again. Versatility is one of the things that we pride ourselves on, man. So, we'll be looking into some other some other topics as well. But all in all, that does conclude this episode of the Royal High Table. Big shout outs to TIS for going through and producing another workup in the makes, man. Producing another workup in the mix. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. but all in all, though, just as we're concluding, I do want to say this: I'm still going through. I'm formulating blueprints. I'm formulating formulas. I'm formulating the routines and let's just say this: there's a whole lot of stuff that we've got up in the works, and big shout outs to God, big shout outs to all of the Heavenly Kingdom for helping us out, and just keeping their hands on us throughout the way. I'll say this is a proposed live stream schedule that I'm thinking about doing, right? I'm thinking about doing, and which this is still in the works, so this is not necessarily set in stone, this is not, etched in stone or whatever, that you may want to say. But I'm thinking, just because I typically like doing the podcast, like the Royal High Table podcast, I typically like doing those on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What I'm not going to keep speaking with uncertainty, so I'll change up my word. But this is the overall plan, right? So come Mondays and Wednesdays, because I know that I love doing the news platform videos, the news of the people, the news of the world. We may do, for however long that they may be, live streams just talking about the news of what's going on in the world, in the society, whether it be from a local perspective, a state perspective, a countrywide perspective, a worldwide perspective. Mondays and Wednesdays might be the days Mondays and Wednesdays are the days that I'm looking to have those done. Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be the days that I reserve aside in terms of live stream wise for the Royal High Table, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday may be the time that I'm setting aside for gameplay. For gameplay productions, because I know I still love playing me some The Walking Dead, man, and I know that we're coming up on the end of chapter 3, but there's still so much that we have to play through when it comes to The Walking Dead. We still got to get through season 1, then there's still season 2. I think even when we're talking about just the Telltale series, I think when Wow, I think there might be 4 seasons in terms of 4 main seasons plus the extra side stuff. So I may be misspeaking on that, but there's quite a lot. Point being, there's quite a lot of things. There's quite a lot that we have to do when it comes to that particular game. And after we finish season 1, I still have to make up my mind on if we're going to proceed, if we're going to just move on to the next season, or if we're going to take a break, play Bully, or finish playing Life is Strange or something like that, and then get back to it. Just alternate it like that. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. But all in all, I just know this episode is going to go full out on YouTube. That another thing that I also need to look into is getting this out on Spotify as well, so that y'all can check that out. But YouTube, definitely, we're going to turn this into some shorts so that we can cut the footage up, get it out to all different social media platforms. But all in all, I do want to thank y'all so much for the love and support as always. Y'all like this thing up. It doesn't matter where y'all happen to see or hear this. Like it, comment, share, subscribe, all that other sort of jazz. Follow the social media pages. Again, not just for King Zachariah White or King Big Daddy Drip, but for the internal spear, the external spear, and definitely, even though I know that this is a TIS production, still show some love to all of our folks within TES. Samaya, Logan, Mason, Noah, JC, Kelvin, Brandon, Adrian. Big ups to all of our guys. My brother to Michael as well, and big shout outs to our other folks who are part of our TES community. My grandma, other different folks as well. What else? And also, I'll say definitely big shout outs to Samaya, because she's getting into her video editor bag. She just ended up releasing a video of her performance that we did out in the park. And also at the same time, that video, she ended up editing my video as well. So y'all just be on the lookout, because Samaya's doing a whole lot of great things. Same as Logan, because I know that Logan, he's stepping into his musical bag as well, when it comes to the lessons and when it comes to performing, because he definitely knows how to play the bass very well. But again, enough of that talking. The most important thing, y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned, stay tapped in, and stay locked in, because the juice over here never stops dripping. All right. I'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace, be easy, and as always, y'all stay blessed up.